Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Baseline Podcast. I'm Ben, that's Josh, and we are back alive and well. It is June 22nd, which is wild to say that we're already at the end of June, but it is June 22nd, 2026. And I thought, Josh, the 21st, I believe, is the longest. I think it's like the longest day of the year, I think, technically, in June. If I remember right back to my sixth grade science days. But we've had two polar different types of weather. I mean, you've had some hot days in the past month or so, but Hungary's about to hit the stretch where, like, pretty much for the next week, we're between 94 and 100 degrees for the next week and a half. And yeah, I do miss my all-around air conditioning in the States because here it's usually just one wall unit. I'm going to miss that. I always will miss that. It's just so nice to freeze to death at night during the nice hot summer. But that's enough about me. I'll touch a little bit about what's going to be happening this weekend for me. But before we get to that, Josh, how are we doing?
Yeah, complete opposite. I think the 21st is the first official day of summer
That's what I'm
also.
thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, it also fell on Father's Day. Had a good time with my
Yeah.
dad,
Happy
eating
Father's
some
Day, by the way,
steaks.
out there. Happy Father's Day out there to all the dads.
Yeah. Yeah, had some good time eating steaks yesterday, but yeah, funny enough, with the first official day of summer, it is not even 70 degrees today. I actually have had the air conditioner off at my house
Oh,
the
it
last
must be
few days
nice.
because the hottest it's getting inside is 74 or 75 degrees. It's been very uncharacteristically cool in the month of June uh, so far. I think we're finally getting into some of these 90-degree days next week once we get closer to July. But yeah, it's something I'm not complaining about since I, work where I work in a hot factory, which I just finished my first week on days too, Ben, and I think I'm finally settling in on a sleep schedule. I'm not tossing and turning at night anymore. At least last night was the first night that I didn't really do that. So hopefully that's a trend that continues. Also, I think I added four views to our last episode because in my Bible study group chat, someone sent the link and said that it was, or complimented me, said it was some good stuff. And then I replied
Ooh.
back, well, get ready. I replied back and said, skip the first few minutes so you guys don't see how terrible I am at geography. And I think I got a handful that were like, well, now we have to listen. I was like, yep, I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to steal the view. But hopefully, yeah, that tabbed the tally there a little bit.
I
But
just I just love the geography thing. I think my mom said something. No, it wasn't my mom. Someone said something to me about how you suck at geography. It wouldn't have been my mom. She's too nice. Might have been
well,
might have been someone else. I can't remember, but they were like, he's really bad at geography. I
yeah,
was
I'm
like, he
I'm
is.
very very good at the United States, but once you get out
He's
of
not
that, it does
cultured,
get tough.
people.
Yeah.
He's not cultured,
Well,
is what he's
you know
saying.
where what I can find on the map right now, Ben, is where Cape Verde's at, especially after another draw it
Dude,
was
I'm telling
with
you, man.
Paraguay, I think. So
Uruguay, the other
Uruguay,
guy,
okay.
the other
Okay.
guy.
Yeah. Well, either way now, they don't have any wins, but they don't have any losses yet, and they actually scored some goals this time around. I believe it was 2-2, and
Yeah.
I can find them on the map now, just off to the west of Africa on their little island over there. But they've quite literally put themselves on Josh Burris's map.
Well, that is the fun part, and it's I love this time of year because it's like we have the World Cup, which only happens every 4 years, but it's always fun because it's always right in the middle of the end of the NBA season. So it's right in the middle of baseball season. And I'm going to touch on that in a second. I touched a little bit on it last week. Um, the reason it reminds me so much fun is like I have a playoff game coming up on Saturday, which by the way, again, stupid heat. It's going to be like 106 on the field because of turf. So, anyways, that's besides the point. So for some reason I'm more amped this week because of the World Cup. It's kind of wild. Like I'm kind of like this is on like I have a playoff game. It's like a key game. I want to be focused for it. But this is why we go back to the World Cup. And before we get to talking about this, and I know Josh, you pay attention to the news as much as I do, which is very little. Um, actually, Josh pays attention more than I do. But I do want to talk about how can we just say how wrong the media has been, the specifically as I'm living in Europe, the European media, the big international media has been about America and the fact that there are Europeans, Asians, South Americans, Africans coming to America to these small southern towns, these unique communities, and they're talking about so many great things that are happening. You have British guys going into Bass Pro Shops and just falling in love with Bass Pro Shops. Like you have these guys from from Croatia going into like Waffle House and falling in love with it. Josh, what does it tell you as an American? But does it finally feel like we got some like bricks off our shoulders? Like we're just not this terrible place everyone makes us to seem.
It could be some of that. I think sometimes this is actually the case when I go on vacation, and I feel like when you go to a place like New York, the natives just, become bored of things like the Statue of Liberty because it's just been
Hmm.
in their backyard their whole life. But for people that don't live around there, I mean, it's like a huge thing. And to the people there, it's like, you're here to see that? Like I see that all the
Hmm.
time. And Cedar Point's kind of like that, at least in my area. Like, basically in my backyard growing up around Sandusky, and a bunch of people come from out of state to go there, and it's just you can get a little bored and get a little desensitized to how some of these places are national landmarks. And I mean, I still get a kick out of how Waffle House, like in some cases, has gotten some of the attention it has, but uh,
But
it is cool. I mean, I
yeah,
love my country, and I take pride in it, and
yeah,
I think it's cool that places like this are
yeah.
getting attention. I
Eh,
even
eh,
saw a Cheesecake Factory in Westlake, Ohio specifically get shouted out because somebody that was visiting internationally is taking some kind of road trip through like the Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania area to get to the next location where they're going to watch their country play. And they were looking for suggestions on places to eat. And they
yeah,
literally specifically said the Cheesecake Factory in Westlake, Ohio, which would be in Crocker Park for the people that are in my area very familiar with, one of the suburbs of Cleveland, a place that I've eaten at a handful of times. And it's
yeah.
just crazy seeing
I,
that.
but I think the other thing I wanted to say with this is like, we're like, I think as an American, I've been for the last few years, I don't know, 8, 9 years, been told like we've all been told like you should be ashamed with how America is or what America is, and it's like I've never been more proud to be an American. And someone brought up that America's playing so well. We're going to talk about America of how well they're playing because of just the fact that these people are coming, and I love it because I don't know if you've seen the video where they're doing college football chants at soccer games, and someone said, "Why are we trying to be like Europe? Let's just be us, and let's just bring the college atmosphere to soccer." And I think that's for me is something that's showing like it's not about like it's about nation pride, and I think it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat, you're a Republican, you're a libertarian, or you hate certain things about our country, you love certain things like you still should love your country, where you're from, and I feel like sometimes there's people coming here from other countries that love it more than people in our own country, and I think that's what's been hard for me to watch. I'm very happy for people that love it. That's awesome. But also, I'm like, it really is tough for me to watch because I do know how great America is. And people are finally seeing it. They're seeing it on the international stage, how hospitable people are and going to this down south and stuff like that. So that's just my take. I don't know if that makes sense, Josh, but I just feel like it's really cool to see like the love of America coming back from Americans and from international people.
Yeah, for some reason, I mean, we all, have our issues with our own government, but I feel like with the UFC 250 event and then getting to hold the World Cup here, we're taking back a little bit more of that pride. Like even
Yeah.
I feel like some of that could even just be from people here, but for some reason, America still has to be punished for having slavery, a few hundred years
Yeah.
ago, when every single country has had it. And
Longer
we
than
were
America did.
yeah, we were one of there were several countries that after us, like, were still buying slaves and like still doing the trade and all that. We were one of the first few to end it, if my memory serves me right, or at least stop with
Yeah, you're
the
right. Yeah,
trade.
yeah.
But we're the only ones that can get punished for that, and we can't have any pride because 200 some years ago or something like that, we did this. And every country has its own black eye, but in the moment right now, like it's no doubt one of the best places to be. And yeah, just like you said, I think that it's cool seeing some of these events come around, and the United States get to show what it's all about, and it's maybe not what you would have guessed.
And it's not the big cities, and like people are enjoying not the big cities. People are going to like Kansas City and to down in Alabama and Florida and like places that are not ginormous cities, and they're enjoying America, and that's what makes it even more cool in that sense.
Yeah,
But I think going to the World Cup though. it's been a wild few days since we had. I bet you have the standings brought up there, knowing Josh Burris. He probably has the
I'm
standings
all
brought
ready
up
for
there.
them to find and tell you whatever you need, but I was going to just lead off with, just since we were just on the topic of the
Yeah,
United States, that we won again. I
it's a
believe it was
dominating
Friday. We
fact.
defeated
Yes,
Australia 2-0.
dominating.
So yeah, this start has been awesome.
Won the group already, by the way. Won the
Yeah,
group. Don't have to worry about the last game.
we discussed with Jared that like the group didn't look super strong, and it basically was set up for the United States to definitely advance and a great shot of winning it. And now that we got this 2-0 victory, yeah, we are at this point. So awesome to see. Let me see how things went here. We got a goal here from Freeman. We had a handful of saves from Freese. Let me see if I can get you some team stats here. Just if anything was a crazy outlier. Uh, Crazy. Okay, so we had possession 62%, Australia 38% in that one. We each had two shots on goal though. So Australia did make, I guess, the most with their possessions, but ultimately our goals are the ones that landed.
Yeah. Look, the U.S. I was able to watch a lot of the highlights and catch up with it, and Freeman's in a very interesting one because he is one. If you know the story about him, like his dad was a NFL player. His dad played for the Packers for many years. Um, he actually was not one of this like golden bunch back in the previous World Cup because he was still only like 18, I believe, at the time or something like that. He after the World Cup, the previous World Cup in 22, a lot of the veteran guys didn't come out for the Gold Cup, and that's when Freeman got his start at like 19, and he's really shown he's the youngest team guy on the team at
21
21
years old.
years old. Just an absolute like showing that he's the future and one of the guys that is going to be the future. But the fact they did this without Pulisic, I don't think people realize how big that is to give confidence to the rest of the team that we can do this without our best player. Again, shows now they'll play Turkey, I guess how you pronounce it now. They'll play them at the end of this last group stage game. I'll be interested to see how many guys actually are going to be like starting, or if they're going to rest some guys. They obviously don't need to win this for seeding or anything. Like they already kind of know who they're going to play. I looked at the projection of who they'll play. They have a very, I wouldn't say easy, but it's a very on the lighter scale of matchups for the rest all the way up to semifinal. If it falls the way it's going to fall right now. So there's a really good shot that the United States men's national team could be in the semifinals here in a couple weeks. We'll be talking about a completely different thing when that comes around.
Yeah. Uh, Already mentioned Cape Verde. They
Absolutely
put themselves.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Well,
phenomenal.
and I'll get to their like actual game. I just want to say they put themselves on the map with how they performed against Spain.
Yeah,
If anyone was doubting Spain's ability to score
they
against
dominate.
any defense, yeah, they got it done against Saudi Arabia with a 4-0
And
win.
and if we point out Cape Verde, if they beat Saudi Arabia, they will be into the knockout stage. If they as long as they do is get a win, tie would make it hard for them because obviously Spain and Uruguay will play, so it'll be interesting. They need to if they just get a win, they'll be advancing into the knockout stages, which would be
Yeah.
awesome to see.
Possession wise, again in that one, Cape Verde got outpossessed 65% to 35%, but the shot on goal difference was way different. They actually got four, even though just having the ball for about a third of the game compared
And
to
the goal
just
was
two for
amazing.
Uruguay.
That freaking
Yeah,
penalty, that not penalty, that free kick was unreal. Absolutely phenomenal shot.
yeah. So this time, yeah, the offense did come around. They took advantage of their opportunities again. Uh, At least the ESPN stats show that they had zero saves this time. So wasn't it
Yeah.
something ridiculous like eight
Yeah,
saves
he
that
had 8 saves. I mean, well, the thing is, we'll talk about Curacao because Curacao, we'll talk about them in a bit. He had 15 saves, which was second most to Tim Howard back in the day for the United States. But going back to Cape Verde, I mean, let's just point it out. The two goalkeepers were like, I think it's like combined 78 years old, combined age. So that again, older guys, but Cape Verde made some mistakes. They had an easy opportunity to win this game. I mean, if you look at the way things went, they should have won this game. They just made some really dumb mistakes at certain times.
I also saw that Egypt got their first
Yep.
World Cup win
First
in
ever World
history
Cup win.
too.
Yeah.
3-1 over New Zealand, so definitely worth shouting out over there. And then the last thing I think that we got to definitely mention for our World Cup discussion is the record that Messi set with their
Literally as
match
we're
today.
recording this. Literally as
Yeah,
we're recording
yeah,
this.
they won, I believe, 2-0.
Yes.
Both goals came from Messi, and go ahead and tell him, Ben, he's sole leader now in World Cup
Yeah.
career
So
goals.
this is a crazy part. Crazy way this whole thing worked. So 3 days ago, their first matchup before he got his hat trick, he was at I believe he was at 13, right? He was at 13 goals. Mbappe before their game started, Mbappe scored 2 goals, which put him at 14 goals, which then passed Lionel Messi and put him in. Oh, yeah, he's in striking distance of Miroslav Klose, who is the all-time leading goal scorer. And then out of nowhere, Messi gets a hat trick. He ties it up, so it's 16 goals. 16 goals. Miroslav Klose has that record, and then Messi tonight, yep, scored 2 goals, so he's now the all-time leader in goals with 18 goals. Again, he's still got a lot of games left in this tournament. I mean, he could blow this thing wide open. I mean, he legit, Josh, could get to 24 goals if he really had a heck of a tournament and put that into a spot where now I think Mbappe will end up breaking at one point because Mbappe is younger. But yeah, it's still very impressive.
Yeah. I was gonna say Mbappe is 27, and I mean France could, they're capable of making their own kind of
Exactly.
run too. So
Yeah,
it's one of those things if you're looking for, headlines or potential history to be made, watch these guys duke it out as far as
exactly.
the goals go. Uh, I didn't have anything jotted down. I wanted to mention World Cup. How about you, sir?
Uh, I mean, Curacao, that was awesome to see. Room, who used to play for the Columbus Crew, the goalkeeper for Curacao, and he once again dropped and had 15 saves. But I saw a stat that said I think it was the uh, Egyptian or Saudi Arabian goalkeeper, Cape Verde and Curacao, all three guys basically like 38, 39 years old, 40 years old. Um, their Instagram followers went up a ton. Like the guy from Cape Verde went up like I think 14 million, right?
Yeah, we
So again,
discussed that last
it's
week.
wild. Like all that stuff's wild, So that's the only thing I would say. This has been a very own goal type of World Cup. There's been so many own goals in this World Cup. So
Hmm.
that's interesting. But again, it seems like a lot more offensive power than usual in a World Cup. So I'm excited to see what happens. A few more matches, obviously another round of a groups play, and then we'll move into knockout. So again, super excited to see how this finishes out.
All right. Wanted to touch on baseball today too, because once this episode comes out, we'll be at the halfway point as far as games
Game
played
total,
goes. I
yeah.
think we're about at like 77 games for everybody right now. So 81 is, the halfway point there. So wanted to touch on some current standings, some current player stats,
Yeah.
try to do a little bit of prediction or just get a little picture of what the playoffs could look like, what awards could look like by the end of the season. And we'll go ahead and begin with the American League. To this point, Ben, in the American League, I know it's the league that everybody's saying has been awful. There's currently only three teams that even got a positive run differential. That would be the Yankees, the Rays, and the Mariners. But over there, who has been maybe the most surprising team to you, whether winning more or
Yeah.
losing more than you expected?
There's two teams that fall in this for me. I think two teams that kind of I would say two teams and then a third surprise losing team. I want to do that. I'll do two teams that are surprising in the winning side.
Okay.
Tampa Bay Rays for me. Tampa Bay Rays have really shocked me. Just the way they've been able to compete, the way they can't win away from home. They have like the best home record in baseball. But dear Lord, you get them on the road, they can't beat anyone. Um, but they're such a solid team. They're probably going to be in that wild card. They could win the league, the division. I just think the Yankees kind of have that as a grip right now. So Tampa Bay Rays, that's a surprise for me. Um, they have one of my favorite players right now in the MLB, and that's Simpson, their center fielder. The dude runs probably he has to run like a 4.340. I mean, it's ridiculous. The dude hits for average as well. You don't really see that anymore. Usually, you see guys with terrible average that have really fast base stealing skills, but not much of the hitting department. But he is doing that. Um, Another surprise for me, Chicago White Sox. I think if that's not any of everyone's surprise, then I don't know what you're watching because, yeah, they might give up a lot of runs, but they also score a lot of runs. They're another team that's really good at home, right? Like Tampa Bay Rays are 26 and 10 at home. Chicago White Sox are 24 and 12. Both like the White Sox are 10 games under 500 on the road. So again, they're a very good team, but they're very young. They have Murakami, who I think is going to be a phenomenal baseball player. I think they got screwed over by only signing him to a 3-year deal because that dude's going to make a boatload of money soon. I just think you have to get some things figured out with him when it comes to batting average and stuff. But yeah, so those two are like my surprises in the American League. The one that's losing a lot that really is shocking me, I would have to say the Detroit Tigers. I could have won Houston Astros as well here. I mean, their pitching has been absolutely atrocious. But the fact that you have Scooble and you've been able to do nothing with it is just really ironic. And that almost guarantees that he's going to get traded, which will foreshadow things later. But yeah, Detroit Tigers for me, just a little shocked with how things are going for them.
I was gonna say basically the same thing right there. I think that Tampa Bay has to be the most surprising team. I can remember our discussion at the beginning of the year with how the offseason Toronto had, coming off the World Series and also
Yeah.
added Kazuma Okamoto. Uh, for several reasons. There's been a lot of health issues over there. Vlad Guerrero's also seemed to have lost some power. He's become more of a contact hitter, which is interesting. But it led to a slow start, and I think that's why Toronto is
Yeah.
where they're at. But Tampa Bay, yeah, it's just they've had some guys come out that it's just been unexpected. Shane McClanahan has come back. That's been a nice boost to the rotation. Chandler Simpson, like you said, has been a speedster, and then that trio there of Aranda,
Aranda. Yeah.
Diaz, and man,
Cam,
there's one more. Caminero.
Cam, Caminero.
Caminero's been killer, and like you said, the home field advantage that they have at Tropicana, they're 26 and 10. Nobody else in the American League has more wins at their home stadium, and then they're 17 and 21 on the road. So Tampa Bay has been impressive. If they can get that division, they're only 2 games behind the Yankees right now and get themselves home field advantage. I think that would be absolutely huge for any kind of playoff aspirations that they have. The White Sox got to be there too because it's been so long since they've been above 500. And as it stands right now, they're 2 games above, 1 game back in the division from Cleveland. And they've had the lead at times too for some small stretches. And like you said, Murakami, I think they signed him to a 2-year, $34
With an
million
option. I think
deal
with an
with
option for a
maybe an
third
option
year.
for a
Yeah.
third year. But yeah, the concerns about being able to hit fastballs down the middle were legit, which is why he maybe got the smaller contract than what you'd expect. But the power's been incredible
Isn't
so
that
far.
crazy though, dude, that he can't hit fastballs down the middle, but he's got so much power? It is
Yeah,
so
I don't
ironic to
actually
me.
know how that has translated to MLB, if that has been still the case, but at least in Japan, it was a legit concern. And as far as like the bet, maybe surprise the bad way, uh, I was leaning maybe talking about Seattle. I mean, they're 1 game above 500 right now in
Yeah.
a very below average division. Cal Raleigh has had his struggles. They're trying to figure out how to jam 6 starting pitchers into their rotation, and they're doing this piggyback method. Uh, and then just Andres Munoz has not been the same closer as he was last
No, he
year. But
hasn't. No.
after hearing your case with the Tigers, I mean, I think that's got to be it. Like they had the collapse in the second half last year, and it's just continued this year. And we thought, or at least I thought, at least I know that you were pretty close to this, is that Scooble and Valdez, that had to be like, next to Zach Wheeler and Christopher Sanchez, the best 1-2 punch in baseball. And as it stands right now, they're just 33 and 44 in a terrible American League Central. Like the slide has just continued. And it wouldn't shock me if Scooble ends up being a trade piece to one of these teams, like maybe Atlanta, that's really trying to push for, a World Series appearance. Maybe
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee could be that, although they don't tend to make, well, they have made
Or
the
for
move for
or
CC
for
Sabathia
God
in the
forbid
past.
they goes to the Dodgers. Oh dear Lord. Oh, if that
I
I
think
couldn't.
if anything happened, it'd be a team like Tampa Bay or maybe Atlanta or maybe even Philly. We'll get to that later as far as like playoff discussions. But yeah,
Dare I
I
say
think it almost
Cleveland? Cleveland, dare I say? I know it's in there. I
Cleveland
know it's in
never
there.
would go for a rental like that. I also would say they got to be prioritizing bats right now because
What
what
do you
they're putting
mean?
out
You guys
there.
are hitting so good. What do you mean?
I think it was our lineup Sunday. I just order 2 through 9 was just absolutely abysmal after Bazana. It was just like, oh my gosh, man,
But it's
how
part of
are
the
we still in
culture in
first
Cleveland,
place?
dude. It's part of the culture. You have to have batting average. It has to be bad.
I know. I'm all that to say though, pitching ain't the issue, it's the bats. So not in the scuba running there. We'll move to the National League though, and I'll go ahead and lead off with this
Yeah.
one. I'll lead off with surprisingly bad. I think the Mets got to be in that discussion.
Oh. Mhm.
It's an easy, like low-hanging fruit, but I think they had the highest payroll in baseball again this season. They made the moves to go and get guys like Jorge Polanco and Bo Bichette, and they went out and traded for Freddie Peralta, and they really haven't had a whole lot to show for it. There's been some guys that have had their stretches on the IL. Lindor had an awful start, and for uh, it's basically for a little while there, it was just Juan Soto and everybody else, but. Some of those new guys are starting to come around. I know Bo Bichette is starting to heat up at least with his bat, but they had that collapse at the end of the season last year, also similar to Detroit. And while there are a lot of new faces on the squad this year, it just hasn't seemed to. Well, maybe it's just a matter of gelling. There's also, the very real reality of struggles on your first year with a new team. It seems to be, a common trend always is that first year's rough, but maybe by year 2 or 3 you're better. I'm going to go ahead and say another surprisingly bad is the Padres. I thought
Mm.
that they might take a dip there. Starting pitching was definitely a concern going into the season, but I've just been shocked with how bad they've been offensively too. Like Fernando Tatis, his struggles, Manny Machado with his struggles, Jackson Merrill with his struggles. Uh, Funny enough, I think it's the pitching that has actually kept them afloat. I'll go ahead and try to find some team stats here, but uh, I thought they were maybe a borderline playoff team going into the season, and I thought it would be the pitching, the starting pitching that would hold them back. Definitely not the uh, bats, but yeah, let me go ahead and find some team pitching stats here that I can go ahead and rattle off for you for the Padres. Yeah, pitching, they got the ninth best team ERA right now at 390. Uh, as far as strikeouts go, they are around the middle at 17, so there hasn't been a whole lot of power pitching over there, but it's like I said, as far as the run prevention goes, they're ninth. And then I'll go ahead and give you some batting stats for them right now. They are last in batting average, right below Cleveland, and Cincinnati, for the worst team batting average at 220. As far as runs have gone, they're also near the bottom, 29th. Only the Red Sox have scored fewer runs. So I'd say that's one that's surprisingly bad. And then I'm going to go ahead and say that the surprisingly good team out of the National League has to be the Braves. Because this team was
Mm.
starting off with so many injuries to the starting rotation. It was like, oh my gosh, man, they're going to be just like floating
And
above
their
water.
their home and away record is the exact same, by the way, which makes it even more
24
fascinating.
and 14 home and away. That's huge if you're looking for playoff success. It shows that you can win, no matter what park you're in. Acuna, I know, just went on the IL too, but they've gotten so many contributions from some of these new pitchers. But Matt Olson has continued to be consistent. I know Ozzy Albies has had his moments where he's, looked like he's bounced back. He's hitting currently 284 with a 2.5 WAR. It looked like Albies was falling off the last few years. And then Michael Harris also has had a nice bounce back season for Atlanta. So that's the team that, if like just with what I thought the Mets were bringing back, what I thought the Phillies had, and then I've just been surprised by how good the Braves have been. I know that you could throw St. Louis in this discussion for surprisingly good. You could say Milwaukee also, because even though they trade away Freddie, they just seem to generate more and more starting pitching talent. But that's my National League outlook right now. What about you? Who's surprised you, whether for good or bad?
So I'll start with the bad. I would love to say my freaking Reds because I expected more of them. I mean, they're in last place now. At one point they were leading the Central. One point they were leading the wild card. They're still only 5 games out of the wild card, so it's not like they're. And you said this, Josh. It's not like it's over yet. It's still halfway through. There's a lot of baseball to play. There are 2 games under 500. At one point, by the way, they were 21 and 12. Since that point, Josh, the Reds are 16 and 27. It's
Hmm.
really bad. A lot of things, obviously, they've lost Dela Cruz for a while, but other than that, that's where I'm at with that. But I'm not going to say that. That's not going to be my choice. My choice for bad has been the San Francisco Giants. I don't
They
think
got a
that
good
we,
case too.
yeah, I don't think that we thought they were going to be good or like great, but I thought they would be not 31 and 46, a game above the Rockies for last place in the West. Their new manager, I think this is proving to everyone else that you cannot just get a college guy and stick him into a major league
It's
dugout
never been done
and
before. He was the first one.
yeah. I think Devers gets traded. I think Chapman gets traded. I think there's a few starting pitchers that will get traded. I think they clean house. I think they really start from the bottom. But more on that later, I'm sure. But here's the two teams. I didn't know where to go with this because I'm going to go with the Cardinals because the fact that we thought that the Cardinals would finish last in the division, and the fact that they're able to hit with some guys who were unknown quantities last year. Pitching has been pretty dang good. Not great, but it's been good enough. That's been a shock to me. But the two teams that I would say the most shock, I would say the Phillies, considering they were like last place and struggling, and then all of a sudden now they're just like the best team in baseball for some reason since like April. No, the two teams, Miami Marlins and Washington Nationals. Josh, when in our lifetime in the last 20 years have the Nationals and Marlins been like a team actually actively competing for a wild card spot slash still have a shot to make a good run at one of the top wild card spots? Like when? Like never.
It's been so long, and we'll see what the Cardinals end up doing, but it could very legit be four playoff teams out of that National League East. Like all
It's
three wild cards could come out of there, depending on, like I said, if the Padres continue to trend down, and if the Cardinals, for whatever reason, fall off. Like there's a legit case there. It's been a while though. I mean, since the Nationals won the World Series, what was it, 2018 or 19?
yeah,
And then traded Soto, basically just committed to a really long-term rebuild. It's been a while.
yeah,
There's a lot of good cases in the National League for surprise teams.
yeah.
Like you said, there's a lot of ways you could go with it. Like Phillies have been on a heater since they fired Rob Thompson, and then yeah, the Nationals and the Marlins both currently above 500. The Cardinals, like their prospects are ahead of schedule. It's very similar to the kind of season the White Sox have had, where it's like, do you trust, the process, or do you try to go and make a move at the deadline to maybe make a run this postseason? Uh, and yeah, right now, like I'll just say this about your Reds. They're the only team in that division right now that's below 500. They're the only team in that division right now that's got a negative run differential. It's been
Oh, yeah.
hard to watch since that start of the season.
I mean, it's just hard because their pitching staff has not been consistent. Abbott's turning it around. He's actually starting to have a really good year. But they don't have Green yet. Chase Burns. Well, we can't say Chase Burns has been a bright spot. I mean, that dude should be in the Cy Young
Yeah.
conversation. But when they'd shown that without De La Cruz, okay, and I'm going to say something that's going to be very controversial to many Cincinnati fans, and I'm sorry that I'm going to say this, and I've always been a believer about don't doing this, but I don't know if I see in the next few years if this is not the year if the Reds are really going to turn around or they go to another rebuild. Trade De La Cruz this season. Why not? Do you know what I mean, Josh? Like what hurts you from like you're obviously not winning this division. You're 10 games back right now. Um, why not trade and get you 6 to 10? I'm not 10. Let's say 4 to 6 good prospects. Like not just good, like top tier prospect. Let's say from the Yankees, and you get some of their best dudes. If you're, I know you're not a Reds fan, but wouldn't you say like that would be a smarter thing than just going on this like hoping? Let's pray that he signs his contract. Let's pray that he signs his big contract in 4 years. He's not going to. Like, let's just be realistic.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I saw you threw on our story a mock trade of what maybe the haul could
Yeah,
be from a team like the Yankees. And I think Spencer Jones, I think is who it is,
yeah. There's but the
was maybe the
Lombard
big
as
piece
well.
over there.
Yeah,
Yeah, you'd hate to see them go that early getting rid of him because there is still a few years of control left on his contract, but it doesn't look like there's been much effort to keep him there. And since he's a Scott Boras client, you're also figuring that no amount of money that Cincinnati could throw at him could keep him over there. I guess I just would hate it right now for them to give up on a guy that they got still a little more control over at this
yeah,
point, but with that could add on a little bit extra pieces that you acquire. Like teams are always looking for a rental bat at the deadline. Uh, I know that Volpe's he's always been underwhelming in New York, and they'd love to have a shortstop that can put the
Yeah.
bat on the ball. Uh, we'll see what happens there, but I understand your point of view there. Uh, and before I get into some discussion about Chase Burns, I'll just say this about the Giants. They're gonna have a hard time getting rid of some of these contracts. Like
Oh, they're terrible.
I didn't think that they were going to compete for the division with the Dodgers, but you would have thought, like I was just saying, like Devers has had a year to settle in now. Willie Adames has had a year to settle in. Maybe some of these new guys that were a little underwhelming last year finally start, hitting the ball again. But it's been terrible. You look all around. Luis Arraez has been like the only bright spot, and he's been playing better defense. That's going to be another guy that I think is going to
Yeah.
make somebody happy. That might be the only piece that they're able to trade. Uh,
Yeah.
but let's
You were going to
let's
talk
go
about
ahead
Chase
and
Burns. You were going to talk about Chase Burns for a sec.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to go ahead and talk Cy Youngs, just
Yeah.
some of the pitching that's been in each league, and we'll just stick in the National League since you mentioned Burns. I think most seasons Chase Burns would be, a
The
legit
front runner.
candidate to be winning the Cy Young Award, and it's crazy because he's doing it. I think I heard yesterday, 94% of the pitches he's throwing are fastball slider, and that's really hard to do as a starting pitcher to be that dominant with only two pitches. That's usually
Yeah.
what relief pitchers are doing. So further down the road, I would look for him to try to develop a really good third pitch, but. Uh, there's just so many guys in this race right now that have, as crazy as it sounds, better cases. Like Chase Burns has 102 strikeouts right now. He's got a 2.0 ERA. He's got 9 wins. But then you look across the board at like everybody else that is competing with him in the National League, and it's like, I mean, Aaron Ashby's got 10 wins. Christopher Sanchez has 9 wins. We were talking about him and Mizorowski, the seasons they're having, the performances that they've been having. Not to mention Shohei Ohtani and the light work that he's had. I don't think he has the amount of innings as some of these guys, so that's probably going to keep him out of Cy Young discussion. But there's just been a lot of guys in this National League, and some of them that normally would have, bigger cases, I think are going to finish third or fourth here because it's been Sanchez and Mizorowski have been like crushing it. They both got ERAs under 2 right now. They both got uh, over 100 strikeouts right now. Sanchez 121, Mizorowski 138. Uh, so right now, I see the National League Cy Young as a two-horse race between those guys right now. But if there is like a three-start stretch where maybe one of them struggles and Chase Burns continues to be consistent, he finds himself with a better shouter there. Actually, crazy enough, Burns has a 4.2 WAR right now, which is just as much as Mizorowski, and Sanchez leads them all with 5.5. But if I had to go and pick one right now, I think I'd go ahead and tab Mizorowski. I mean, that kind of is why we're talking about National League All-Star starters. It's usually the guy that's perceived to be leading
Yeah.
in that Cy Young race. So that's, I guess, my piece on it. I'll go ahead and let you add anything else to Chase
No,
Burns or just anybody else in
I,
this race.
I mean, Chase Burns, I mean, like if that dude would just pitch more than 5.5 innings every game, because the problem is he throws so many pitches. Like he's throwing like 85 to 90 pitches in like the fifth inning, maybe sixth inning. It's just, man, if he would just get longer innings, I think he have more of a chance to even have a better looking stat line. Still over 100 strikeouts, but also Paul Skeens, by the way, 286 ERA. He is becoming truly the I can't get any run support guy. He's like Bronson Arroyo for the Reds years ago and Aaron Harang years ago for the Reds. He's 6-7. Sorry, he is literally 6-7. He is 6-7. Uh, and again, he's like tied for the lead of all NL starters in losses. And yet this dude still is like striking out the third most batters. He's only walked 18. He's got like the ninth best earned run average. He's got a 2.2 WAR. It's like he's not bad. He's just on a team that doesn't like him. That's just the way it is.
I say Skeens has had some unlucky defense, and it started right out the gate that first game where Cruz misjudged 2 fly balls in center, and
Oh,
since he didn't
absolutely.
touch the ball, they weren't technically errors. 286 ERA. I mean, anytime you're under 3, that's a really solid season. But by Paul Skeens standards, we would expect that to be closer to like a 2 flat.
Exactly.
Uh, but we've become accustomed that Pittsburgh's just not going to have the run support, and they have been better. They're fourth in division, I think, at 500. The offense has been a little better, but the defense I know has had its issues. But to your point about Chase Burns, yeah, he's had I'm looking at his starts in June. He has gone 6 innings, five and a third, 5 and 5, and in those starts he has had 98, 105, 196 pitches. So would like to see him go deeper in games going forward too. But again, this is a young pitcher in his second season that's doing some really good stuff right now. And as a Reds fan, you hope that that duo of him and hopefully a healthy Hunter Green can be something over there to put
And
butts in
Abbott right
seats.
behind him.
Yeah, Abbott and hopefully a healthy Lodolo too. I mean, there's a lot of good starting pitching in Cincinnati if they could ever just get them all four together
Exactly.
pitching like what they're capable of. Uh, little more of a one horse race, I'll say, in the American League, and it's crazy enough because Tarek Skubal still does exist, but I know he's had some time that he's missed because of that elbow injury, but still, doing solid. But it's a Cam Schlittler runaway
Oh, it's not
right
even
now
close.
over
It's not
there.
even close.
Yeah, leading all pitchers right now in the American League with 4.2 WAR. He's leading all the uh well, actually, Dylan Cease leads in strikeouts, but just by one, 110 to 109, and then going to ERA over here. Let me go ahead and pull that up. Uh,
He's leading it by a mile.
it is a mile. He's at 171, and the next best is
259.
Rasmussen from Tampa Bay at 259. I think I said that name right. Parker Messick third at 270. Shout out Cleveland, but Uh, yeah, I guess if you were to, you know, try to add anyone else in this race, I think Messick, will have a good shot to be a finalist at the end of the season. Cease has been a power guy. He just doesn't have like the earned run stats. Like he's never really been that, but he gets a lot of strikeouts, just with his arm. But yeah, there's not too many dominant pitchers in the American League right now, like there is in that National League.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, nothing else to add there. We'll go ahead and move to MVP because right now in the American League, we've discussed in our All-Star discussion with Judge being out until August, we can bet that we're going to have somebody different coming out of that American League. And
Oh, it's not even
uh,
close. This is easy for me.
this is easy enough for you. Okay, well, I'll let you go ahead and tee us up then.
Oh,
Who's that
so
guy?
so kind of like the three guys kind of came to mind when I was thinking about this was Jordan Alvarez.
Jordan's absolutely got to be in this
Yes.
discussion.
Uh, Ben Rice. Because again, a guy who I didn't think I'd ever put in there. Um, I wanted to say Murakami, but he's just not having the great stat wise year. Byron Buxton, secretly, by the way, having a phenomenal year, hitting 24 home runs with 40 RBIs. I'm sorry, that is the most terrible stat line ever. He's Alfonso Soriano. But no, the other one would be Nick Kurtz. Nick Kurtz is on base literally 44% of the time. He's just absolutely just slugging out here. But I'm going to lean right now to Jordan Alvarez because the overall numbers, he's walking literally almost as much as he strikes out. Whereas in Kurtz's case, yeah, he leads in walks by a pretty good amount. Him and Trout are kind of fighting for that, but he also strikes out 30 more times than he walks. So for me, just Jordan Alvarez overall is showing us the kind of the guy that he is, and yeah, deserves that.
Yeah, Jordan Alvarez right now, as far as the American League goes, is leading in home runs and in OPS. Ben Rice is third in home runs at 22, and I believe he is second in OPS. Him and Alvarez are the two that are over 1,000 right now. And Nick Kurtz, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned him too. I think that's a guy that he just needs to hang in there a little longer because uh, the other guys like Alvarez has 25 homers, Rice has 22, Kurtz has 19, so he's just about that 20 mark right now. But the OPS, yeah, third at 995 right now. He's got a 3.9 WAR, which is third in the American League, just behind Bobby Witt Jr. and Kevin McGonigal.
Bobby
Uh,
Witt Jr. is another guy too.
yeah, you definitely got to include Bobby if you want, the overall, uh, offense and defense combo. He won't have the power numbers, but he's definitely going to have, some nice numbers there. But yeah, Kurtz leads the American League in walks also right now. Like that on base percentage, he just
Yeah.
continues since he's gotten into the league last year to be pitched at like one of the best hitters in baseball. Like teams fear throwing to this guy. So I'd say yeah, right now the three got to be Jordan Alvarez, Ben Rice, and Nick Kurtz, but would give the edge right now to Alvarez. Moving over to the National League right now. Uh, I think this is a much harder. Well, not a hard discussion. After Shohei Ohtani, with the way that he's pitching and hitting, I think after him, if you want to discuss your second, third, and fourth, that's where I guess we'll start. I'm assuming you're in agreement that right now it's Ohtani's award to lose, but
Absolutely.
behind him, who would you be expecting to make a case?
Kyle Schwarber. Never thought I'd say that, but his power numbers are just off the charts right
This
now.
is why I wanted to put him at DH, especially being at Philly. Like at least get him in the home run derby. But
this is why I wanted the freaking Reds to sign the guy. If they just spent a little bit more money, they'd have this in Cincinnati right now
they could, man,
instead
they
of
could.
you instead of Eugenio Suarez, who is hitting 204 and he can't hit anything on the side of a ironing board. That's just annoying me. And then there's a few other guys that kind of came to mind. I didn't know where I was going to go with a lot of these just because I was trying to figure out like who could it be. Pete Crow Armstrong was a name that kept popping in my head. He's got almost five WAR. But I'm
Leads
actually going to
National
go
League
with
in that.
but I actually am going to go with James Wood as a name that is kind of from left field a little bit. But I mean, he's a guy who's getting on base like 400. His slugging percentage is 534. He's got a 3.3 WAR. Like that's a guy. So I have like Schwarber, Wood, obviously Ohtani, and then I would love to say a red, but of course no Reds would ever be in this. Um, but I'm actually going to lean into the third guy for me. I'm going to leave in Jordan Walker. I really like Jordan Walker. I've said this last time as well. He's leads the National League in RBIs. He's got a lot of home runs. He's got power. He's got speed. Like he gives you everything you need, except he doesn't walk enough.
I was gonna say Jordan Walker in this also. Right now, currently the National League leader in RBIs. He's right up there in homers with 18, which would put him at tied for fifth. Uh, in WAR, his teammate JJ Weatherholt's actually ahead of him at fourth, but he is at seventh. James Wood's another good name that you mentioned. Still striking out a lot, but he's putting, bats the ball really well. Andy Pages, he's
Yeah,
second in WAR behind Pete Crow Armstrong, like by a whole game, which is crazy. Uh, Pages also third in RBIs, just having a really solid season over there. He started off
yeah.
really good last year too. We'll see if that second half collapse happens with him. Uh, and PCA with his defense is always going to be in this discussion. He's been heating up a little bit with his bat. He started off so bad this season hitting the ball. Uh, and I'd be remiss too if I didn't mention Corbin Carroll in this discussion. That National
Yeah.
League outfield was so hard to figure out, and Corbin Carroll is who I ended up leaving as like that fourth guy looking in. But depending on how some of these guys play out, I think Carroll could definitely have himself a legit MVP case too. But it's just so hard to pick against Shohei Ohtani, man. Like especially with the extra dominance on the mound that he has had this year, and he's still hitting really good, hitting 297 right now, I believe as it stands. Let me see if I can find some more specific hitting stats. So
I mean, he's hitting
290,
418 on base percentage, 551 slugging, nearly 1,000 OPS, three WAR. Dude's crazy, dude. Absolutely
yeah,
wild.
9.69 OPS. That's good for 11th. It's crazy how many guys
Wild.
in the National League are just
I
crushing
know.
it right now. But yeah, just with the overall solid bat and the overall solid arm, I mean, I think it's a no-brainer that Otani's in the lead right now. But behind him, there's a lot of guys that definitely got some good cases too.
Yeah, definitely full of it for sure.
Yeah. Uh, I'm gonna go ahead and cap I guess, the award watch discussion right now with rookies because there's just been so many fun rookies to watch this year, Ben. And I know that some of them have fallen off the initial heaters that they were on. Like in Cleveland, DeLauder has fallen or cooled off a little bit. South Stewart had cooled off initially, but there's just so many good rookies right now. And who would you lean into, I guess, as American League and National League rookies of the year right now?
Uh, American League, it's easy for me. I don't think it's close. And I think part of that is just how this guy's played since he came up, and that's McGonigal at Detroit. I just think he overall is, he's hitting 283, nearly an 820, 820 OPS, four WAR, walks more than he strikes out. Again, I really like the way he's been playing. That's who I have on the in the American League side. National League side, a little more challenging. Um, I I know this is going to sound because I'm a Reds fan, but I truly believe I don't think Chase Burns is allowed to be Rookie of the Year. I don't believe. I think pitched too many innings last year. So if it's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
him,
Chase Burns out of the
yeah.
rookie discussion.
If it's
Cam
not
Shortler is
him,
the same in the
yeah.
American League.
If it's not him, then for me, it's got to be Stewart from the Reds. I just I don't know, man. At the end of the day, I couldn't get out of my head just the fact that he's been so successful. He has 53 RBIs, top five in the National League. He's hitting the ball well. His OPS has gone down. His sluggings went down a lot. So again, he's not having an amazing, but just the numbers itself should be enough to carry him. Um, so yeah, that's who I have winning it on that side.
American League, yeah, I think it's going to be hard to take down Kevin McGonigal. I know Travis Bazzana has been playing some good ball, but he came up late, and I don't think he's just going to be able to catch the lead that McGonigal has over there, especially with Ward just second in American League as a rookie is insane. But I'd throw Parker Messick in there as an arm, but you almost have to be like crushing it as a pitcher to
Yeah,
have any kind of shot. This tends to be a batter friendly award. And we'll see when if Murakami can maintain his pace. I do wonder at the end of the year if we have like McGonigal is second or third in WAR, but Murakami has like a 40 home run bat who
yeah,
gets the edge right there. That'll be definitely interesting. In the National League, I think that you definitely got to have South Stewart in there, but another guy that's just been, on a war machine is JJ Weatherholt from St. Louis. I know it's in
yeah,
division, and Reds fans would hate to hear that, but 3.5 WAR is good for fourth in all of baseball right now. Weatherholt's been, a key piece for why the Cardinals have been as good as they are. Just under an 800 OPS right now, 798. He's batting 268. To go with 12 homers, 34 RBIs, and has a good glove over there. Those would be two guys that I'd be thinking of for this race right now. Uh, but yeah, there's been a lot of fun young players to watch. That's who
yeah.
I'm looking at over there in both
Same,
leagues.
same.
Yeah. Nothing else to add other than if you got anything to touch on. I think we definitely got to talk about a basketball coaching hire before the show ends.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of quickly finish up, Dusty May, the head coach of the team up north Wolverines. He obviously won a championship this past year. Got a lot of guys from the transfer portal. He is now leaving, which is crazy in the middle of the summer, to go join the Dallas Mavericks and be their head coach. Again, this is not the first time we've seen this. We saw the former head coach at Michigan Bayline. All right, it was Bayline. Yeah,
John
he left,
Beilein took off for the NBA.
went to the Cavaliers and struggled, and then resigned. Right, couldn't manage the locker room. Sort of a lot of other
Lost it
things.
very early on,
Yeah,
too old school.
and now we're hearing rumblings again. These are alleged. We need to say this so we don't get in trouble, but alleged that there was a lot of scandals with the transfer portal when it came to um, Michigan or the team up north this past year with him at the helm. So, yeah, an interesting situation. I don't know how I feel about it. I guess for them, I guess there are probably some that are bummed, but you can't stop a guy from wanting to make money and go live out his dream.
Yeah. Similarly, I was thinking of Dan Hurley. He was just in this situation not too long ago where he just finds himself in this UConn spot, immediately
Yeah.
turns them around and makes them a threat against winning national championships. And then the Lakers, dangle a really serious offer in front of him that he had to think about,
Yeah.
but ultimately decided to stay at UConn. Felt that, there was still, plenty of winning that could be done with the Huskies, whether it's that he likes the college game enough. Ended up deciding to stay there. Dusty May, I know I saw in reports too, is excited about the opportunity to be able to coach Cooper Flag,
Yeah.
and of course Dallas has some young stars over there like that. So sometimes you go to the college game for these guys that have done fairly well with younger players. Try to keep a guy that's good with younger players in your building. So I'll have to coach at Dallas. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if anything unfolds over here, if there is any truth to that
Yeah.
alleged reason why he might be leaving. Maybe, as amazing as Cooper Flag is, maybe there was some stuff behind the scenes over there. We'll see what happens. Right now, they have tabbed one of their assistants as the interim coach.
Yeah.
So Michigan coming off a national championship. We'll see how much pull that has for maybe pulling, a big name to come and coach. Uh, I know the timing of it all is definitely weird. I was going to say maybe May waited till the end of the NBA season to go ahead and make
Yeah.
this move, and that's why Dallas waited also. But yeah, you're going to have a big job opening over there coming off the national championship. We've seen Michigan. They're very capable of winning in basketball.
Yeah.
Uh, they've been in a few championship games in our lifetime, uh, and then
Yeah.
obviously won last year. So we'll see what kind of pull that has for a big potential name maybe coming up north. But yeah, definitely a shock and some news that we got today that had to be discussed.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, yeah, it's one of those busy times of the year. We've said this over and over again, and we're going to continue to say it. It's just the way it is. But again, exciting things happening, exciting things coming. Um, yeah. Is there anything else? I guess we will be talking about obviously the NBA draft's happening on Tuesday. We're recording this on Monday, so we'll cover that next week. If there's anything we thought shocked by, obviously there could be some trades and stuff as well. But once again, thank you so much for watching and listening. But specifically, if you love watching on YouTube, click that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. And if you've loved listening to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or anywhere else you found your podcast, then please make sure you share us with a friend. Um, Comment down below as well. Most of those you can comment as well now, um, for sure. But I did want to leave you with this. If you are interested in watching what American football looks like in Europe, this Saturday we have a semifinal game against my old team, Josh,
Hmm.
against the old
Been
team.
waiting for this matchup.
Yes. So it's another matchup, actually, because we lost him in the regular season, but that's besides the point. We're looking to right the ship. If we win this, it's a big deal. So we'll go to the championship. But if you guys are at home and you want to tune in, it'll be 1 p.m. Eastern time on the HFL TV YouTube channel. Or it's if you're here in Hungary, it's 7 o'clock time as well. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching and listening. And if you guys hope you guys have a great weekend. watch some soccer. Yeah, we call it soccer in America. That's right. Go and watch soccer. Enjoy your time with friends and family. And until next time, we'll see ya.